How's it going there, everybody? It's Mr. Zen over here bringing you guys a brand new Nanatsu no Taizai chapter discussion. And for today's segment, guys, what we're going to talk about is chapter 220, folks. As this chapter did, it was actually very funny as how they were kind of explaining it, but we got to see a huge, awesome panel with the 7 deadly sins, all 7 of them together. But the thing that made it more interesting, folks, the underlying fact throughout the whole comical gag that's going throughout this chapter was the fact that it was actually the transition point for the next little mission for the 7 deadly sins, and that is going to Camelot, folks. They're actually formulating a plan to actually go to Camelot, rescue the knights, and you know that the thing is that's making me laugh at the fact is that Escanor, folks. Escanor is getting some of his. I feel like we're gonna get some more exposition for Escanor and frickin' Merlin herself, but it all includes back to King Arthur. Now that's what I'm kind of interested in. And all of that is actually going well balanced out all together in this chapter because they even dropped a couple of pointers with Gowther himself. You know, like I said, this is a transition point in the story where now it's starting to push itself forward. Okay, Nambaka, I see that you got yourself a little good story plot development right there going on. I'm loving that. I'm actually loving that. But like I said, this chapter, like throughout all the comical gags, you know, they all were together having a little drunken feast. They're all drinking everything. Merlin, of course, comes back and, you know, is injured. The thing that made me laugh with the fact is that the way that Merlin goes at it just comes in all naturally, takes a sip of wine or beer or whatever they're having, and it's so hilarious because Bond, of course, is already he's like almost blackout drunk. Honestly, this guy's drunk to the point that he's just saying whatever's on his mind. Like, honestly, I thought that was freaking hilarious. Like, Bond's just that kind of guy you have at your party, and he's just there. He's just like literally the commenter for the party itself. Like, honestly, that's hilarious. But like, we gotta talk to the fact that, guys, is that Meliodas doesn't seem very, how do I say, very worried. Or he doesn't seem anxious to actually fight against Zeldris himself, because Zeldris is the last, you know, 10 commandment. And the way that I see it, maybe because Meliodas kind of believes in, you know, in his own Nakama or his own knights itself, that maybe that's why he's not really that as nervous to actually face off against Zeldris. But as Diana mentioned in the chapter, and if you guys have been keeping up, we noticed that Zeldris is actually he has all the powers of the Demon King himself. And not only on top of that, he's got the powers of piety as well. So, in my honest opinion, it's like, whoa, Meliodas, like, how are you not worried at all? Like, I understand, like, all the characters themselves got some major power-ups themselves, but that doesn't mean that they're done. That they're actually done with this mission. And by that, I mean that the mission is going to be easy. They walk in and just, you know, give a little slap at Zeldris. No, the way that I kind of see it is the fact that I feel like Meliodas might have more faith in Gowther himself, because Gowther, now that he's actually returned to himself, that maybe that's why Gowther can turn the tides on this, and maybe that's why the Demon King actually held Gowther in the chamber itself, because Gowther seems like he's actually a very powerful one to have as an opponent itself, friend or foe, no matter who it is. But like I said, but speaking on Gowther, folks, I mean, come on, the chapter very heavily influenced the fact that what happened 3,000 years ago? How did the war end? Diana mentioned that, and it gave us a lot of viewers and us readers as wondering, like, the same. You know, we're thinking the same thing. Like, what the heck happened? What's going on? How did the war end? It's hilarious because Escanor was saying that, you know, it was the Goddess clan that actually defeated them and sealed them. And of course, I believe Meliodas was like, no, not Meliodas. I believe someone said that it didn't really necessarily happen like that. Apparently, it was the coffin of eternal darkness. That's what sealed the Demon Clan, and they were kind of having mixed doubts as to who it really was. And it seems that Gowther was gonna say something, but he said he said that he's not too sure if he's ready to tell everybody if they're not really ready for the outcome itself. Which personally, I'm kind of actually like shocked that maybe it was the Demon Clan themselves, that maybe they actually said, you know what, we need to see ourselves. But instead, it might be something along the lines that maybe it was actually the Goddess clan that the Demon Clan was actually intentionally heading towards to actually seal but in doing so, they sealed the demon clan as well, in order for the feud to actually stop. That's the way I kind of see. That way, that there could be an everlasting peace. That's in my honest opinion. That's what I think that Gauthor might have done. Honestly, like it would make so much sense to destroy the two pivotal, strongest clans and seal them away and have everybody have like a normal leisure life, or at least normal in a sense. That's my honest opinion as to what I personally might think that might have happened. But everybody's under their own interpretations, and I'm also wondering that as well as to what does frickin' Arthur have to do with all of this as well, guys, because it all leads back to Merlin. Merlin, of course, was in the previous chapter, she was trying to find Arthur in Camelot, seeing as to like what she can find or some clue to find Arthur, and it seems that she can't find Arthur. That makes me wonder that, whoa, Arthur, if I remember correctly, in the beginning of this arc, Arthur himself was actually saving a lot of the knights themselves. He was actually doing his own part in defending Leonis against the Ten Commandments itself. That I thought that was actually pretty intense. And the thing about it too as well is that it was very shocking to see Escanor kind of like just heartbroken, seeing that that Escanor was not even on Merlin's mind. And I'm here thinking that maybe Merlin sees something in Arthur that Escanor doesn't have. Because remember, guys, Escanor is a very, very strong guy. And to actually, for her to say, oh, I need Arthur. Maybe it's not that Arthur himself, maybe he's like a descendant of the demon clan, maybe. Or maybe he's a love child. Or maybe Arthur maybe is a biological experiment of Merlin herself. Like I said, there's a lot of factors that could actually go in this, but the thing is that makes me laugh is the fact that Escanor, he just was like a little boy creeping up inside the room, just looking at it and saying, oh, like, wow, Arthur, what's the deal with Arthur? That's just my opinion, that like maybe it's just that we're gonna get some plot development for Escanor and seeing as to what it actually might develop into. Maybe Escanor's power is maybe a handed down power. That's what it is, and maybe it might be transferred into Arthur himself. I could be wrong, guys. I could be wrong. Not too sure, but like I said, Escanor doesn't really get that much, like you could say, character development in a sense, because he's technically the perfect character, as you can kind of say, when it comes to battling. So that's why it kind of makes sense as to why Escanor doesn't really get that much action showtime, because he's just that overpowered in the series. So I'm gonna actually have to wonder as to what's gonna happen with Escanor as the chapters continue. But I would say that's about it, folks. Let me know down in the comments below as to what are you guys' thoughts on the chapter itself, in chapter 220. What are you guys' thoughts on Escanor, as to how he's going to become more and more important as the chapters actually continue? Because remember, we never really get any side interactions with Escanor, with the 7 deadly sins, or any of the Lord itself. I wonder what Escanor has to what's his role in this now? And also, what are you guys' thoughts on King Arthur? What do you guys think that he actually what makes him so important? Like, what's that little cat that has that distinguishes him from everybody else? Like I said, it's just something about Arthur that's very important, that even Merlin have like her eyes on him. And also, what do you guys think? What is Zeldris gonna do? Like, honestly, I feel like maybe Zeldris might already have Arthur in control. Maybe that's why Merlin was going around. Like I said, there's a lot of things that we could talk about, but I would say that, like, damn, Zeldris is gonna be intense. The fight with Zeldris is just gonna be that interesting. Can't wait to see it. But like I said, let me know down in the comments below. And as always, guys, if you guys enjoy my content, don't forget to give a like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Nanatsu no Taizai chapter discussions. And as always, hope to see you guys again in the next video. But peace out, folks.